Oh, gosh, I miss that face. For over 30 years, Michael Morgan led the Oakland Symphony and worked hard to bring symphonic music to a broader audience. He focused on bringing youth and people of color into the fold of music and gave them opportunities they may otherwise not be exposed to. Maestro Morgan was only 63 when he died this past August following an infection after a kidney transplant. He had returned to conducting shortly before his death. His legacy lives on in a new children's book that is safely in the hands of Oakland school children. Let's talk more about Maestro Morgan by welcoming the author of that new book. Good morning to you, Dina Bartello.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here, and thank you for the opportunity to celebrate Maestro Morgan in a way that I think he would very much appreciate. Why is it so important for you to get his story in the hands of children?
Michael believed in dreams. He believed in children making those dreams happen. And he knew the importance of role models and just fostering their special gifts to make whatever it was that they wanted to do come true. Michael did that from the time of a child on through his adult years, visiting hundreds of schools a year in Oakland alone. It's important that kids have that exposure to music education.
Absolutely. And so today the children at Cleveland Elementary in Oakland are going to actually get that book. It's interesting. I wonder how many of those children have actually seen or saw Michael Morgan perform. It's an interesting idea for them to be learning about a man they probably heard about but maybe never actually saw in person.
Well, since it's first and second graders, probably not at this point because, you know, with the pandemic. But we are going to be offering tickets to all of these students to let us break bread on Sunday so that they can see people who look like themselves on stage. And we're hoping that everyone in Oakland will want to come at the Paramount Theater on Sunday.
And I know there was a celebration of his life, a concert shortly after his death, and we heard from musicians worldwide who said, it is because of Michael Morgan I got a chance to audition for such and such, or I got a chance to play with so and so. Those opportunities are so few and far between to begin with, but can you talk a little bit about why the maestro made it his work to put more people of color, more youth on those important stages?
He always believed that children should see themselves on stage, and he wanted to make sure that whatever the child's race or sex was, that when they came to the theater, it was them they saw. And it's not just musicians that he inspired. There are countless teachers out there now that are teaching music education because of Maestro Morgan visiting their schools, and one of them is here today at Cleveland Elementary. It's extraordinary how many people he inspired to do great things and foster youth.
And that circle just keeps going around and around. And I know that Maestro Morgan was known around the world for putting new and inventive music and musicians on the stage. This wasn't your same old, it wasn't your grandfather's classical music, right?
No.
One of my favorite memories, if I can share, I saw him 15 years ago at this point. It was at the Craneway Pavilion in Richmond. It was a free 4th of July celebration. He led the symphony and the audience in a Sound of Music sing-along medley. And to this day, I remember that he had the brightest smile in the whole place.
He does. He did have an extraordinary smile, and it just reached to the very back of the audience. Everyone felt it, and they walked away feeling as though they were his friend. One of my favorite photos is this picture on the back of the book with surrounded by children. That is who he was. He loved to spend all of his spare time with the kids of Oakland.
Gosh, and he responded to so many requests. It seemed like everybody wanted to have a piece of him. He was just one man, but in a way, he is everywhere. What are you looking forward to most when you get to actually put that book in the hands of children there at Cleveland today?
I am so excited. I was far more nervous about meeting with the kids than I was with you, which is a little strange because, it's first and second graders, so you never know. But I love kids as much as Michael did. And last night I was a little emotional because it should have been Michael today reading this book. He worked on this book with me. We told the story together. He shared some really beautiful stories of his childhood. He knew he wanted to be a conductor at 10, and he conducted his first concert at 12 years old. So he believes in the power of kids and their dreams, and that's what I want to convey today.
Well, look, maybe you'll put that book in the hands of, let's say, a 7-year-old today who in a few years might pick up that baton as well. Dino Bartalo, thank you so much for joining us, shining a deserved spotlight on Oakland Symphony's maestro Michael Morgan.
Thank you, and I hope everyone will join us for Let Us Break Bread on Sunday at 4 p.m., 510-444-0802 for tickets. Thank you.
Absolutely. Dina, thank you again. You know, Mike and Sal, Maestro Morgan was a guest here on the 9 a couple of times, and, you know, I remember that performance in Richmond like it was yesterday, but it was interesting. Mike, he told a story recently when he was on. He said, my dad bought a piano and put it in the living room and didn't say anything about it. Didn't make me take lessons, didn't ask the did you practice
It was
question.
just there, yeah.
And he said, explore. And he did. And that's how it was born.
And by the way, what a wonderful idea for that book, you know, because it's all about the children for him. It's all about the music.
Yeah.
And to your point, you know, introduced to music at such a young age. And then, as she mentioned, conducting at age 12.
Right.
And then to go on to have the career. And let me just ask you a question, because you know more about this than I do, Gasia. But for him, was it always about, not himself as a conductor, but it was about the orchestra?
Yes.
About showing off the orchestra? Would you say that's accurate? Or?
I mean, even though he was a star,
Yeah.
he always turned that spotlight around on the people in front of him who were playing. And he was very, very humble, even though, like I said, everybody wanted a piece of him. And I just think that generous spirit and that nature of it's the musicians, Sal, who are really making this music come alive. I mean, I'll tell you, when I got that news back in August, it hit me. Yeah. And I wasn't even privileged enough to be in his circle, right? I'm just a fan. But I think all of Oakland, all of the Bay Area felt it.
Well, I think you said it right, Cassie, where this is the way he would want to be celebrated with this book and with bringing more people, more children into the fold of music. So that's a great way.